Hi guys, this is Vo. I'm going to show you some of my Shaw Brothers collection. Before I talk about them, I'm going to talk to you about in America and how Shaw Brothers perceived here. Basically, there's two major Hong Kong studio that happened in the 70s or 60s, 70s. Shaw Brothers came before, but they were predominantly making a lot of films until they did Kung Fu, and that became kind of like their bread and butter, and they produced a lot of Kung Fu films. And then there's another company called Golden Harvest that kind of ate Shaw Brothers lunch, and the main reason why is because Shaw Brothers, as far as movie strategy in the U.S. is concerned, is that they weren't interested in America. And so, I mean, sure, there's a couple films that made it here that became big, but it's it's not as popular as some of the Golden Harvest stuff. So one of the most popular films that made it in America from the Shaw Brothers is Five Deadly Venoms. This is the Hong Kong release. Now it comes with a nice slipcase and the film with the DVD, and it has the artwork and description of it. Now you can't watch this if you're in the US because it's actually region locked to region 3, but if you have a region all player, you can play it. Now this came out before this. There was a bootleg called Five Deadly Venoms, and this was a bootleg. So if you were in America, this was probably the first DVD that you probably have seen, and no pictures from the film, but I can tell you this is a terrible transfer. It looks like it's taken from an old VHS tape. Okay, the official HD transfer we got was from Dragon Dynasty, and this is the Blu-ray version of Five Deadly Venoms. Picture quality is very good. It's taken from the 35 negative, which is actually looks very, very good. Even on DVD, it looks really good. And Blu-ray obviously is what you want. I also have a copy of the DVD, which also released by Dragon Dynasty. Celestial Pictures is the official title holder for all the Shaw Brothers film. So anyway, the cool thing about the US release of from Dragon Dynasty is that it includes the English dub, which is not available on the Chinese edition. This by default is the English dub, but the picture quality is terrible anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But the English dub, it also includes a commentary track by what is his name? Bo Logan, or he is oh, here he is, Bay Logan. He is actually a kung fu expert and really knows this stuff. If you got a chance to listen to the audio commentary, Five Deadly Venom is probably my favorite Shaw Brothers film. Actually, second favorite, but it is very good. I'll show you my favorite Shaw Brother movie in a second. Alright, my favorite is Five Element Ninjas. This came... Now, this is considered part of the Venom's line of movies. The Venoms were, because Five Deadly Venoms was so popular, most of those actors carry on to different movies, and hence all this movie directed with Chang Cheh instantly became called Venom films, and this is one of the Venom films, Five Deadly Ninjas, also known as actually it's known as Five Element Ninjas, but there's another title called it has a different AKA in the US. Chinese Super Ninjas, the title, And I also have another bootleg of this as well, but the bootleg is not very good. I'm not even going to show it off because I think I might have unceremoniously just given it away or put it in the trash because the DVD bootleg is pretty bad. This is the probably the best version you're going to get of this film. Comes with English dub and everything. Yeah, so Dragon Dynasty released a few other Shaw Brothers movie, 8 Diagrams, Flying Guillotine 2. I have Flying Guillotine 1 somewhere. 36 Chamber Shaolin 1 and Disciple of Shaolin, 36 Chamber Shaolin. King Boxer. One-Armed Swordsman. This is a classic from Chang Cheh. Here's another double set of Golden Swallow and Killer Clans. Killer Clan is actually very good. So if you get a chance to watch it, it's worth watching. Even the English dub is pretty good. I have another box set here with Avenging Eagle, Blood Brothers, Killer Clans, once again Golden Swallow. So basically I rebought a few of these titles, and this isn't the first rebuy, and I'm going to show you the Chinese version in a second. So these are some of the Dragon Dynasty release. I'm not sure if all of these are Shaw Brothers. I know 5 Shaolin Masters, probably a Shaw Brothers movie. Maybe Ancient Arts of Shaolin. Executioners from Shaolin, definitely a Shaw Brother film. This is a classic. If you watch American Kung Fu theater, this is definitely one you can remember from. Let's see. I guess they're all Shaw Brother movies, but I don't recall Mad Monkey Kung Fu being, but it's probably a Shaw Brother movies. Anyway, so this is another good collection to have if you get a chance to find it. And it's cheap. This was maybe 10 bucks for the whole thing. Shaolin Mantis from Dragon Dynasty, one of the later releases that Dragon Dynasty released for this their line of Dragon Dynasty picture. Dragon Dynasty eventually kind of just went away. Because I guess lack of people buying it, because let's face it, Americans don't want to watch Asian films, and they definitely don't want to watch subtitles film. So yeah, it's America's fault that these don't sell. Alright, it looks like this might be the final Dragon Dynasty one I have. I do have some more. I don't know where they are. We'll take a look at some Blu-rays. So this is Heroic Ones, Delightful Forest. Brothers 5 and 36 Chamber Sound. That's actually a Dragon Dynasty title here. This is I already have this on DVD as well, but this is a classic. I mean, just a classic film. If you have not seen it, you definitely need to watch this. It's a bit long, but the whole point of this movie is that he basically learns all 36 chambers of Shaolin, and actually there's only 35 chambers, and the 36th one is well, it's a mystery. I won't give away the ending, but yeah, so it's a classic film. Alright, so these are Swordmasters Blu-ray, and they're released by Wells Go. Yeah, these are kind of bare bone releases. There's no special features or anything. It's just, I believe most of these are English dub as well, so that's kind of nice to have if you don't like hearing or you don't like reading subtitles. Tokyo Shock also released their Kung Fu line, Deadly Duel. This is not a bad film. Not one of my favorite, but it's not a bad film. They also released Heroes 2. Now what's nice about these is they come in a nice slip case. So, I mean, it's very nice. Unfortunately, I don't think these sold very well, and you can find these for sale for like $5. I mean, it's kind of sad, but Tokyo Shock is the manufacturer, and I believe Tokyo Shock might be out of business. So a lot of Blu-rays that you'll find from Tokyo Shock might be really cheap. Okay, Opium and the Kung Fu Master. This is kind of like a rare US release. Now, the the company that released this was also going to release another film, but in the Shaw Brothers library, but they never released it because I think they figured that they didn't sell this. They didn't sell very well. Anyway, let me see the company that released this. BCI is the company, and I don't think sales was very good for this title. I bought it obviously, but yeah, I never got the second release. They never released the second one, which I think they did release it, but only on DVD, and at the time I was not buying DVD. But this is Opium and the Kung Fu Master. Pretty good. Picture quality is very excellent for a Blu-ray. Alright, this is a rare one called Master of the Flying Guillotine. This is obviously a knockoff of the Guillotine film. So in China and Italy, if your film is successful, and what they can do is make knockoff films using the same title. So Flying Guillotine was popular, so they made Master of the Flying Guillotine, which is actually starring the one-armed swordsman, who is a Shaw Brothers. This is actually not a Shaw Brother movie, by the way. But anyway, so this is great. It's Jimmy Wang Yu stars as the one-armed swordsman. He fights all these classic Chinese characters, including kind of like a Daosim character, and this is basically Street Fighter 2, pre Street Fighter 2, and I can see where Street Fighter 2 might have got influence from this film called Master of the Flying Guillotine. It's a really good film. This is the 2-disc anniversary deluxe edition. What they did is they took a longer cut, and they took a theatrical cut, and they pieced them together into this ultimate cut. And so sometimes during the film, the quality degrades quite a bit because they're using footage from different sources to make the ultimate cut. And how I know that is because I actually have the original release of the Flying Guillotine in here, which is basically the blind monk with the guillotine versus the one-armed swordsman. So a blind guy versus a one-armed guy versus all these Street Fighters. It's pretty good. This is probably one of my favorite Kung Fu films. And incidentally, as you know, I love Kung Fu films, so yeah, this is definitely one worth tracking down if you have not seen it. Okay, so these are a couple American releases. This is Black Magic. I believe Image Entertainment released this. This is Image released these two. Super Inframan, which is a Shaw Brother movie. It's not a Kung Fu movie, but it's kind of like a knockoff of Ultraman. But it's the Chinese Ultraman, so it's kind of interesting. And Black Magic is a horror film from the Shaw Brothers. So Image Studio obviously tried to release a few of the lesser known Shaw Brother titles that, no, not lesser known, but not Kung Fu related. This is great because they come with the slip case here. So the slip case is kind of like metallic, shiny. It's kind of nice. They also released these other titles, House of Traps. I think this is Image, yeah, Image. This is Image as well. Okay, so Shaolin Intruders, Vengeance is a Golden Blade. This is pretty good. And then House of Traps. This is a Chang Cheh film, so definitely if you're a Chang Cheh fan, House of Trap is pretty bad in some point, but also just classic Shaw Brothers. They basically go into a house that is full of traps. Every level has different traps, and obviously they didn't really have the technical. I mean, this is before CGI, so definitely it's all mechanical stuff that isn't as good as if they were to make the film today, or maybe have if you have a little more imagination. House of Traps is definitely worth checking out too, but it's not one of my favorite Chang Cheh film, unfortunately. It is, yeah, it is what it is. All right, okay, I've run out of my US version, so these are like from Thailand. This is a one-armed swordsman. So I actually have a bootleg in here called One-Armed Swordsman. There was a lot of knockoff film in the 60s and 70s when one-armed swordsman became popular. And so we have new one-armed swordsman, one-armed swordsman. This is the original one-armed swordsman. This is the Chinese release. And then we have here Return of the One-Armed Swordsman. Yeah, I mean, the One-Armed Swordsman is a great, you know, it's a good film. I think it's one of the Shaw Brothers' biggest hit films at the time, and so they made a bunch of, I have this upside down actually. This is how it's supposed to look. So yeah, it's about a guy who has a broken sword. It's a girl cut off his arm. I mean, it's a tragedy all around, but even with the one arm, you know, the broken sword and the one arm, he still triumphed over his adversaries. And yeah, new one-armed swordsman is probably the most wackiest of all the one-armed swordsmen. This is the Bastard Swordsman. I do not like these films at all. There's two of them. Return of the Bastard Swordsman and Bastard Swordsman. These are just they're not very good. They're not good. I don't know why they made a sequel to this, because obviously it must have done really well for it to be to have a sequel. It's just ridiculous. This film is just too fantastic for me. Oh, you know what? I have here a US release actually. This is it's a box set from Wells Go. And so this includes Duel of the Century, Heroic Ones, Battle Wizard is terrible, and Two Champion of Shaolin. This is a great film. And if you ever watched the Chemical Brothers Get You High video, they use this footage from this film. The foreign release. This is a Thai release, I think. Anyway, so as you can say, it's the Brave Archer. There's three films, and actually it might be missing a fourth Brave Archer film, I believe. So this isn't really a complete set, but yeah, it includes the Brave Archer, the new Brave Archer, the Brave Archer 3, and his. Yeah, I think it's missing Brave Archer and its mate, which is not in here. But it has Brave Archer, Brave Archers 2, and Brave Archer 3. So, yeah, I don't love it. I mean, even though it's I'm missing one of the film, I can live without it, because I did not really love the Brave Archer. I mean, despite people thinking it's a great trilogy. It's actually based on a couple of fantasy novels, so that's why maybe I just don't love it. It's too fantastical for me. All right, so this is the one of my first Shaw Brother film I ever bought. I bought it on eBay. So this is kind of like released in a different country, basically. Not China, but not America. It looks like Cambodia is the release. I got it really cheap on eBay. It's Killer Clan. I've long since have the US version of this, so this really I don't know. It's good. I mean, for a Shaw Brother movies. Okay, we are gonna go over this really quick because I really don't have the time for it. But these are a lot of Hong Kong releases. So this is the Magic Blade. I have the US version of this as well. The Magic Blade is basically a spaghetti western in China. Really awesome. So if you like western, you like kung fu, this is definitely worth checking out. The Hong Kong edition really didn't have any special features. The US version, if you can track it down from Dragon Dynasty, has a great audio commentary accompany it. Have Sword Will Travel was basically a knockoff of Have Gun Will Travel, so this is obviously influenced by the West a bit, maybe just the title, but it's basically about a wandering swordsman Pretty good if you haven't seen it. Yeah. I love this film, Shaolin Temple. I actually bought it on digital as well. That's how much I love this film. And this is one of the first film I've seen when I was a child, on Black Belt Theater. And I, for the longest time, didn't know the title of it, but it's just simply known as Shaolin Temple. I knew some scenes out of it, but I just didn't know the title for a long time. So when I finally bought this and then watched it and realized that this is the film that I've been missing, yeah, Shaolin Temple. This is a Chang Cheh film, and I've been trying to collect all of his film. Chang Cheh wanted to direct over 100 movies and kind of died before he did. So unfortunately, yeah, I love the director. Not This film is not terribly memorable. So Flying Guillotine 2. I have the US version of this as well, but obviously Flying Guillotine is classic. Flying Guillotine 2 up the ante with an umbrella. What is this? Is this King Boxer? Oh my god, it's King Boxer with a different art. I have the US version of this as well. This is classic. In America, there was AKA Five Fingers of Death. And so, yeah, King Boxer, classic film. This is probably the first American film that they released in theater, I think, from Shaw Brothers. I think. I'm pretty sure. Because everybody loves this film. Invincible Shaolin, really great film. Chang Cheh, classic. Venom film. Man, this is basically North versus South Shaolin. So Northern Shaolin is called, I guess, Shaolin, and Southern Shaolin, I guess, is the Wu-Tang or whatever they call it. So they basically, it's Shaolin versus Wu-Tang. Basically, is the alternate AKA title. So they pitched two different fighting style against each other, and it's a battle to the death. And Invincible Shaolin is awesome. So if you like Venoms, if you like Chang Cheh, if you like a lot of blood, this is it. Heroes of the East. This, I have the US version of this as well. This is just a fun film. If you like kind of a little bit of comedy in it. He is basically one Chinese guy versus all these Japanese dudes on the bottom here, and basically a bunch of Japanese fighting style versus Chinese, and basically it's an anti-Japanese film. It's basically saying Chinese kung fu is the best, you know, that kind of thing. And they use different you know, they use different weapons and stuff. So a lot of Japanese weapon, a lot of Chinese weapon matches versus, and Gordon Liu's great in it. Everybody's is really a great film. If you haven't seen it, this is something you have to check out. I bought it digitally recently, so this is definitely worth owning. Heroic ones. Not one of my favorite. One of the early Shaw Brothers release. This is very epic. All these fighters down here, man, there's a lot of them, a lot of fighters. So it's very epic. That's all I can remember from this film. I think it's Chang Cheh film as well. Like I said, I've been trying to collect all the Chang Cheh films. Iron Bodyguard. I think it's a Chang Cheh film. Let's see, director Chang Cheh. Yeah. So. Yeah, not memorable. You know, I think they tried to make this guy a star. He never became huge, so, but he starred in a lot of Chang Cheh's film. Blood Brothers. This is another historical epic one. Yeah, that's. I think it's David Chang or David. Who's the other actor? Yeah. I don't see his name. Well, anyway, it's, I don't know. Don't love it. Chinatown Kid. This is, everybody loves this film. Yeah, it's alright. I think it's a little too modern for me, because it takes place in, like, 60s China. So, not very, I mean, there's Kung Fu, but it's definitely more of a modern take of it, and Alexander Fusheng. He he was a superstar at the time. Unfortunately, he died. And it wasn't a death by like a stunt death or anything. I think he just died in his car, so it wasn't anything. I mean, I think he crashed or something. 36 Chamber Shaolin is obviously I already talked about this. I already have the US version of this as well. This is a classic. You need to watch it. 2 Champions of Shaolin, more Shaolin title. Everything during this time period had the word Shaolin in it. This is alright. This is alright. I think if you watch that music video, it has that guy in it. Come Drink With Me. This is a classic as well. I have the US version of this as well. Yeah, first kind of like really before its time is a female fighter. She knows Kung Fu. I mean, you have to remember this is like in the 60s where women had no rights and stuff. So having her in the lead is actually really awesome. And I think she starred in Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. So she's definitely a star. Flying Guillotine? Yeah, the Flying Guillotine. Yeah, it's classic. It's about imagine a guillotine that flies through the air and cut off people's head. That's what this is. Executioner from Shaolin, great classic film. I remember watching this as a kid. Just a great film against the Pai Pei or whatever the master that is just indestructible. He has no balls. So this guy's trying to kill him with using any kind of techniques, and he always fails until he learned the secret. And basically, yeah, a fight to the death. Ode to Gallantry, not one of my favorite. This is one of the later Chang Cheh films. This is considered a Venom film, so if you need to have this in your collection, you need to have it in your collection, but not one of my favorite. Legendary Fox, another later Chang Cheh film, not one of my favorites as well. Too fantastic for me, very fantasy. All Men Are Brothers is an older film. Yeah, it's just an older film. I think a lot of early 60s film, I did not love, but it kind of paves its way for the more modern Kung Fu stuff. When I say modern, I mean like 70s. Temple of the Red Lotus, this is an older film. It's alright. Return to the 36 Chambers of Shaolin, obviously a sequel to the 36 Chambers of Shaolin, but this is a totally different premise. Still stars Gordon Liu, but I mean it's a totally different movie, so you can watch this before the other film and it still makes sense. Magnificent Wonder. The reason why I stopped buying the Hong Kong film is because they stopped putting it in the slipcase that you saw earlier. So they just have a standard case. This is actually a custom case that I put on here, but I just stopped buying from Hong Kong. Besides, importing it was very expensive. So, alright, that is my Shaw Brothers film as a bonus. I'll show you my Fortune Star release of all the Bruce Lee film called the Bruce Lee Ultimate film, including, Big Boss, Game of Death, all kind of good stuff. Enter the Dragon. Enter the Dragon. Oh my god, I found another one. This is the Epic Heroes releases featuring Shaw Brothers film. It's a steel book, and it has disc. It's DVD and includes Heroes Shed No Tear, Heroic One, Delightful Force, and 2 Champions of Shaolin, which I own on Blu-ray as well. So, but yeah, this is a nice steel book if you like steel book. Nice image in here, and I think the problem with this is getting this out is kind of like annoying. Oh my gosh. Oh, I see. It only opens this other way. So there you have it. All 4 discs in a not convenient steelbook. Alright, so that's my little Shaw Brother collection. I do have more. I do have bootlegs. I do have a lot of like knockoff and a lot of different Chinese film, but these are the official ones that you just saw are mostly official releases from various companies that license these pictures. Unfortunately, Shaw Brothers have not, I mean, as far as filming goes, have not released anything in the US for quite a while. You can only buy them digitally now, and you can do it on the Google Play Store or Amazon. It's not available on iTunes. Well, it is available on iTunes actually. It's not available on Vudu, which is the platform I want the Shaw Brothers film on. I don't know why, but it looks like Shaw Brothers is just not interested in releasing films in the US, and we haven't had a release in the US in a long time.